Hi, this is James, aka Starstuff Music, and I'm here at Rock Hard Studios, taking you through the mix I've done for Leon Jones' Fairweather Woman. For the drums, I used 16 mics, so we have 3 on the kick, we've got the kick sub, a kick in, kick out, snare top, snare bottom, 3 toms, a stereo ribbon mic for the room, a Cole overhead, 4 on the cymbals, hats, ride, crash, left, crash, right, and the M49 in the room. So what I need to do is, first of all, choose a good noise gate for each of these drums. So I'm going to go to my kick in, and I've used the Oxford drum gate. I find this is really good for most things. In this case, it was great for the kick. One of the good features about it is the leveler, so you can keep the transients fairly consistent. So rather than using a gate on each of the transients for the drum mics, I use a side chain and use Logic's built-in gate. So I'm taking the side chain from the kick in on the sub kick and letting it do what it needs to do to add the right amount of length to it, and I've done the same on the kick out microphone. Now on the sub kick, I've used one of my favourite plugins, Devil Lock, which kind of crushes things, distorts them, sounds great as part of a blend. So as I've gone through this, I've sent my 3 kick mics to a kick bus, the 2 snare mics to a snare bus. I've chosen the plugin silencer for the gate for the snare top. In this case, it worked better for debleeding the cymbals than the Oxford drum gate. And whereas the drum gate had the leveler part of it, this I've used a transient designer to sort of control the peaks after that. Bit of EQ, a bit more compression, a bit more saturation. Devil Lock, a bit more saturation again. It's quite drastic EQ to try and bring back some of the high end in the snare and get rid of some of the woolliness. And then an instance of oak sound spiff, which kind of makes things pop out. It's like a expander which works around certain frequency bands. So when the transient hits, you can it pops out some of the EQ. Now, so I've managed to avoid using any samples for this, and how I've done that is by using the room microphones and reverbs. So if I look here, I've got the room left, room right mic. I've used an expander on there. Now I sidechain the snare top to the expander, so when the snare hits, it makes the snare pop out of the room mics more so than it would do without. I'll show you first of all with the expander turned off. That gives me a lot of character and body of what the snare was like in the room, and it's a lot more controlled. So I've done the same thing. I've used the expander on the other room mic and the Cole, which is overhead. I've also used the Cole to send to a gated reverb. I used the Verb Suite Classic. There's a preset called Gatey 80s Drums. I've given it a little tweak on the decay and the EQ. That sounds quite cool. And then on the snare top mic, that's also been sent a little bit to the gated reverb. I've got an instance of it's being sent to a slightly longer snare reverb too. And then I have something that I've called snare whack, but basically what that is, it's another instance of Devil Lock, which has the mix all the way up this time, and that kind of crushes anything that goes into it in a nice parallel way, which is without it with. Okay, so this is what the drum mix sounds like with everything going. I've got all these submixes. They are now being routed to a master kick bus, compression, tape emulation, Pultec style EQ, a dynamic EQ, which is controlling a lot of the harshness at the top and giving a lot more punch to the kick at the bottom, and then a clipper at the end of the kick bus, which sort of neatens everything up. Very, very subtle on this one. Okay, and here's the whole track.